Welcome to the Wilderness, an origin so broken that in the next patch it's going to be completely overhauled. This is going to be one of the most broken runs I've ever attempted in Stellaris, and in natural me fashion, we're currently recording this just before the patch hits the live game. This is the Wilderness. This entity is nothing less than a sapient ecosphere, a multitude of diverse life forms which long since coalesced to form a gestalt consciousness on a planetary scale. The idea with this empire is rather than playing as individuals, you are playing as a hive mind, but more than that, you are playing as pretty much nature itself. You have symbionts, you terraform worlds rather than sending out colony ships, and I'll go into way more detail about all that when we enter the game itself. But to maximise the absolute broken nature of this empire, we are also going to be playing as the Devouring Swarm, or the Devouring Wilderness, turning us into the Blood Forest. And on top of that, we're also going to have the natural neural network. In a few tests I've done, this is an absolutely broken civic at the moment. It allows your farmers, your engineers, and your technicians to give you a little bit of research. This empire can absolutely go insane with the number of farmers, miners, and technicians. The neural network doesn't sound as insane as it really is until you see the amount of bonuses you can also give to your basic workers, which are not your main species, but instead things like grubs and pollinators. Birds and the bees. Literally birds and the bees. The traits for our species are as follows. We have psychological infertility, because as you'll find, population growth simply doesn't matter, and we have unruly, which increases empire size from pops, which as you'll see in the game, simply doesn't matter. We are agrarian, giving us more job efficiency to our farmers, which does also increase the research from our farmers. We are intelligent, giving us more research in general, and we are traditional, giving us more unity. This being said, the farming one here is likely going to be the absolute most important, because we also need lots and lots of food for this empire. Because we make things out of food. Because we make things out of ourselves. Now, as for the name of the empire, people who've been around for a very long time will know the very first time I played Stellaris properly, I played an empire called the Cash Cacti Combine, and we had the glorious leader of Thorn. Since then, Thorn has shown up once in a while with my favourite portrait, the lovely cactus, so I think it's only fitting that today we turn every single planet into Thorn. The end goal of this run is to turn every single world in the galaxy into a Gaia world, and to name each and every one of them as a variant of Thorn. We are the world, we are the people, we will be everything. Now, I have played this empire type before very briefly. In a quick test run, I ended up with the game completely glitching out and giving me a game over screen because I used up the last of my biomass. Biomass is a resource you'll see more when we get into the game itself. Essentially, it's our main population, and the game let you spend your last population, which automatically caused me to lose every single colony. Now, apparently, that's been fixed, but the biomass system itself is incredibly volatile, and we'll see just how good or bad that is throughout the run. In fact, that's the whole point of today. I have purposely not looked at the beta, what's changing with this empire. Today, it's all about giving my opinions and seeing just how this empire runs. And I think we're going to be insanely powerful incredibly quickly. So, for the game itself, we're going to be playing as Grand Admiral, the highest difficulty. We will have Iron Man mode on, so hopefully things don't glitch out, because I would love some of the new achievements. We're going to have a small galaxy in the Spiral Galaxy type, a random crisis of maximum difficulty with 0 scaling, so all those cheaty bonuses, all the empires will get pretty much immediately. After that, we have the mid-game set to 2,275 and the end-game to 2,325, both of which are significantly earlier than the default. But I am very confident this empire is going to be able to deal with them. So with that, let's get growing. And so begins our glorious empire on the very outskirts of the galaxy. We, of course, are the Wilderness. For as long as memory, Thorn has always been the planet Thorn. Every stem, tendril and enzyme here is part of the self, a balance of growth, decay and predation. For ages, Thorn could only dimly perceive the galaxy beyond, yet the stars have long been restless. A battle took place in the skies above, great vessels rained debris upon its surface, alien artifacts that were quickly repurposed. Then came the super flare. Thorn felt it as a blinding, scorching light. Dunes melted into glass, and scouring winds swept our rock faces clean. An entire continent rendered utterly barren. The pain awakened us. For the first time, we grasped our fragility. The galaxy is perilous, but it also holds wonders. Using what we have learned, we shall germinate and spread. We will take ourselves to the stars. And here we are in our beautiful starting system. So then straight away, what exactly makes us so different from every other Empire type? Well, we as a wilderness don't really care about our population. Instead of the usual, you know, you have your population, they do jobs, they get us resource. Instead, the population are a resource. They are classed as biomass. Now, biomass can build absolutely everything. We use biomass to build our buildings, to build our districts, and even to get new worlds. We terraform worlds rather than sending our colony ships, and this costs a lot of biomass. And that does mean we quite literally constantly sacrifice our population. We do have one of our population on each job though, and they're there to essentially just add all the benefits of our main species. Eventually we will go down the route of biomorphosis, and I think we're locked to purity. I have no idea what purity is like. I'm hoping it's good because that's our only choice. That's how we're going to ascend. Other than that, it's just the usual kind of pattern of spreading from system to system, and because we're a purifier, we get a nice discount, so we're going to be incredibly aggressive expansionists. However, we're not going to be grabbing every single world we find. Worlds are very expensive for us, plus 200% in terms of our empire size, and until we have the biomass to use, we can't really do anything with those worlds. They're just there being dead weight. So we're going to finish off the worlds we have first, then grab the new world. Now, when it comes to increasing our population and getting more biomass, we don't really have normal population growth because our population is going to be so low. Instead, we have the cradles. The cradles of rebirth will give us 2 population at the end of every single month, and also a load of amenities. We are going to see them absolutely everywhere. This is the main building because biomass is the main resource. Rooted deep, this structure metabolizes decaying matter and captured prey into biomass, nourishing the body of the world with every silent pulse. In fact, we're probably going to build some heart groves early on as well. A pulsate... Why is everything pulsating? A core of biomass and instinct, because this allows any building type essentially, so even more cradles. Loads of cradles, loads of amenities, loads of biomass. It's risky to have so much early on because we're not getting other resource, but it will speed along absolutely everything. Now, when it comes to tech, what we really want, like as soon as possible, and I got none of them there, is the specialties for our basic districts. Because the jobs are automatically being filled, the extra jobs from the specialty are also automatically filled, so it's a massive early game bonus. Anyway, enough talk, let's actually get moving. Actually. Saying the word actually a lot, because already I'm going insane. Sold everything we could, so there we go. We have 3 cradles being built straight away. Because we're the wilderness, we can build up to 6 things at once, which is just really, really nice. Also, can I just say that this ship set is probably my absolute favourite. It's just so biological, even compared to the other one, and so creepy looking. Look at these little ticks. Look at all the muscle fibres you can see in the tendrils and the shells. Everything just looks slightly off, in a good way. And I really enjoy that. Sadly, not a particularly good precursor there, but at least we found it early, so hopefully we can get that done nice and quickly. Also, let's swap that to finding the voice. There we go. Hey everyone, Future Lathrix here, as is a tradition with these 4 playthroughs. Just here to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been so patient waiting for the next video to come out. I know that this one has been severely delayed. This whole year so far has been an absolute horror show in terms of how many videos I've actually been able to produce, but thankfully the rough patch I've been going through with a whole host of things in real life is now seemingly calming down once again, so hopefully the latter half of this year there'll be far more uploads. Thank you again so much for your patience. This video was an absolute joy to record, even though it's weeks late than I originally wanted to upload it. Hopefully it's gonna be a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Back to the video, and of course, likes and comments always help out so much for our glorious algorithm. Now, while I'm talking about things I enjoy, it's the theme of the Empire I enjoy more than anything else to do with it. Because, of course, your population isn't doing any of the work, all of these jobs are just different symbiotic organisms. For instance, your mining jobs are just grubs. Sightless and soft-bodied, these symbiotes burrow by vibration, drawn only to the resonance of precious metal. And yes, I'm going to say symbiotes and symbionts kind of interchangeably, because they are kind of interchangeable, and I'm so much more used to saying symbiote. Blame microbiology degrees for that. Okay, we're going to start off with prosperity. Prosperity is always a good one to start with, but we have this, standardized ecosystems. It makes buildings cheaper. Normally, I would just ignore that, I don't really care about that, but for us, that means less of our population being sacrificed. Well, we found the void worms already. Now, honestly, that's a good thing. Because they're so close, it means we can rush them and take out their nests before they wake up. That also gives you a bonus to Unity, which I assume also applies to a Wilderness Empire. Okay, time to grab our first new world. We'll grab this one because it's significantly bigger. Our terraforming spores have fulfilled their purpose, delivering a part of ourself to colonize an alien world for the first time. Becoming the new world, as well as Thorn, it already feels so familiar to us, a comfortable way of being. Despite taking on so many new forms under a once alien sun, we have adapted easily to the pre-existing conditions here. So with that, the world is waking up. So I'll take 1,080 days, and then we'll have our brand new world. As soon as it's finished terraforming, it literally just becomes part of us. And don't worry, I already know what I'm going to be calling this new world. Thorn 2. You know, one day I'll have it so the microphone isn't directly in front of the keyboard. Oh, this is so annoying. I have 3 things I really want here. This one is a step towards getting our next civic slot. This allows me to terraform even non-desert and dry worlds. And this is insanely rare and is super powerful for the wilderness. Because we can't go on relic worlds, we'll just get minor artifacts from all of our biologists. Consistently. Just loads of... Oh, I need to go for the rare one. It's a rare one, it's less likely to reappear. Kinda hate the fact it showed up when it did, but still. One of the only things which doesn't cost biomass is specializing your communal biomes. So this first world we're going to turn into a tranquil world, because I want loads of unity. The Singing Cliffs. Towering formations laced with hollow bone and lithic flesh, where the wind carries layered tones across the world's surface. Here the choir symbiotes gather to let the world itself sing. Again, love the theme so much. Also, I think, because of our specialties and how good the buildings are going to be, and the fact we get some tech from all these, I imagine on our world it's probably best to have at least one of each district just to specialise them to then build the buildings. Maybe that's not the case, I'll have to do the maths in my head in a little while, but that seems to make sense to me because of just how many jobs we get. Ooh, another Savannah world, great. Although we're not going to take worlds quickly, at least this means we have loads of options. And there we go, let's invade this world. Actually, is it worth it? Yes, because it's fun. Send in the friendship hordes.
Spreads.
They are indeed different, so let's see how this exactly works then. If I'm remembering correctly, we should just get the world.
Horizons
and a nice snack.
Widened. Alien world absorbed.
Okay, yeah, we have the main building there. We have the undesirables. Yep, we're getting some food and some research from that. Absolutely lovely. You are going to be our tech world. Some brains. Now, we need to make sure we have at least one cradle on each world, because sadly, in my test run, if I haven't already mentioned this in the intro, I actually ended up losing because of a bug, which was incredibly annoying. The game lets you use up your last biomass, even if they have a job. Now, apparently that's been fixed, but you can still lose all of your jobs on a world, and if you don't highlight a brood symbiote from your cradles, your worlds can just sit there with like one single population doing one random job for ages. Which is really silly and can easily put you in the negative of resources. So just make sure you have at least one cradle, and it's highlighted as a priority. That should fix that issue. In fact, I may not do that just to see if that's still a problem. It was a problem earlier. I don't know if it's a problem still. Okay, we're going to go with Imperial Prerogative first to lower that empire size. Then next, we're going to go with Mastery of Nature, increasing the size of our districts. Now, this costs energy and influence, I think, which is fine. Because of our discounts grabbing new systems, we should have loads of influence by the mid-game. So having each world just be bigger, that's great. Although we do also get extra empire size from our districts, most of it is going to come from just how many colonies we have. So more districts per colony means each colony is more efficient empire size-wise, plus it just means more of everything. Now as for our fleets, for honestly the majority of the game, you're likely going to see me just absolutely spamming maulers. These things can devastate even fleets stronger than themselves if you use them correctly. If you can get them into melee immediately by hiding them next to hyperlanes or just moving them correctly, they can absolutely shred opponents. And they're just really fun as well. I mean, they're Zerglings essentially, they're Tyranid Zerglings, and it's super fun to have the Zerg rush. So we're going to have loads and loads of maulers. Now later on, we're probably going to go mostly into Harbingers and Stingers for the endgame, but for now, I get to play with my Zerglings. So because we haven't immediately found any enemies, my first two worlds are going to be the Tranquil world and the Cogitation world. You know, we have brains and stuff. The Think Stems, an elevated node of nerve root and mutagenic bloom. So, I've gone with Discovery as our second tradition choice because I really wanted Map the Stars. I also really wanted Chart the Unknown. I want to find as many anomalies as possible and try and finish our precursor as soon as possible. We've also now got our first specialty, so sprawling fields of photosynthetic tissue swell with captured sunlight. So that's plus 100 jobs per district, which is a lot. And it also unlocks the buildings, which is, you know, at the moment it's just extra energy, extra physics research, but later on also bonuses for them, so yeah, that's great. Hopefully I'll get the society one and the engineering one soon, so we have more minerals and more food. Actually, look at our resources already, 15 years in, and our basic resources are looking fantastic. Honestly, our tech and Unity are also looking pretty good. Nice. We are a little bit lacking in alloys, so I think the next world I grab will have to be our Forge world. And the next world, I think, due to sheer good luck, is another pre-FTL world. Okay, I'm being incredibly risky. The new world, I'm turning into a second Tranquility world. I really want to get to Purity as soon as possible. Is this a good idea? I do not know. Wow, you're not giving me what I want at all, but let's go with the cheap option. I really want the bonus food right now, since we're already being kind of risky. There we go. Okay, so that's the mineral specialty. That's fantastic. Now, I didn't clarify something earlier. What happened when I lost my test round? And it was because every single biomass was used at once, including the biomass which currently have jobs, and that meant every one of my colonies got immediately abandoned. So it just booted me straight out of the game. Now, I have been told by a friend that no longer happens. So I will blame them if anything does happen. And you know who you are. There we are. So this is why it's important to have the Brood Symbiont highlighted. If we wait until the end of the month, will we get jobs back here anyway? Let's see how fixed it's been. No, we won't. So right now, I'm on negative food and negative energy, so why this happened is I was building on a different world, and for some reason the game decided to take all of the jobs except for one from my home world. Now in the past, it would have taken all of the jobs, and I would have actually lost my home world, so it's improved, but still not great. So now I'm going to highlight the Brood Symbiont, and next month we should get our population back.
Growth continues.
But yeah, even if it fixed itself, I mean, even with it fixing itself, you're still going to have a month of negatives. That can easily push you below 0, which then causes the event to happen where you get loads of negatives for months. It's a very inelegant system, and I think the brood system, the biomass system, is probably the main thing holding me back from loving this empire. It's so janky at the best of times. Discovery is finished, which was really quick, which I absolutely love. And we're going to start spamming Mastery of Nature. We also have this option here, expand planet size. This requires loads of your population and increases the planet size by 1, which is definitely a thing. And something else I should mention is Mastery of Nature also increases how many of your resource districts you can have, so that could be really useful later on. Need a little bit more energy to do this a bit more consistently, but still. Lovely. Our worlds are going to be better. 1, 2, 3 worlds all just went offline at once. So irritating. It's not that big a deal, really. It's just silly.
System witnessed.
Okay, so next up, expansion is probably the best idea here. Reduces empire size from both systems and planets, which is great. We could go into supremacy. That's always useful for our aggressive nature. Adaptability is amazing. More habitability, more max district, and you get extra bonuses from your colony types, like extra research or extra food. I'm gonna go with adaptability, because I never get to go with adaptability. Oh, yeah, forgot about that. So, because we can't talk to the curators, instead we just get lumps of unity every time we activate a certain amount of artifacts. Maybe I should have gone with the artifact one then, because that would be super fun. Not sure. For now, let's just reduce stuff, that'd be great. Cool, well, that's going to help us get through adaptability a little bit quicker, which is nice. Get those bonuses running. Okay, now we really need to focus on the cradles again. I went a little bit mad building so many districts, but on the upside, 351 unity a month and closing in on 500 research is not exactly bad. I mean, I've seen better, but again, not bad at all. Should I go? No. Let's not do that. Continue investigating. I would love my precursor to be finished. That lump of unity plus our relic would be really nice early on. Normally I'm not happy with this, but this is the perfect trait. Architectural focus. Rank 1 gives you a 10% discount to buildings and districts. Then rank 2 I think is upkeep, then rank 3 again is a discount, I think. So I want you, and I think it's the growth node? Yeah, because you're the official. You two both should have this. Okay, we've encountered a problem causing us to shift our specialties. I'm afraid you are no longer a tranquil world, instead you are a world of war. Because of this, we've found our first neighbour and they are close to our borders already. War is inevitable. So, let's start getting loads of alloys. Oh, this will be loads of alloys. And we need to make more food as well, surprisingly. Why is our food so low? Because things are expensive, that's why. Wow, what's costing food? Oh! I did not know that you take food, Singing Cliffs. Well, I'm dumb.
The wild.
I'm sorry, how many alloys am I making on this world? 130. That is an insane amount of alloys. I mean, I'm not complaining, it's just way more than I expected. Yeah, when it comes to everything but tech, I really think this Empire can really rush some stuff out. Now, of course, with the Empire size as well, I think later on it's going to be a problem, but yeah, that's lots. Begin the spam of maulers and begin to construct our bastion. 27 years in, activating Biomorphosis. The Blood Forest is transforming. We are about to realize our full potential. Aware that this endeavor could fundamentally alter our existence, engineering our own evolution is a task of profound significance. The changes we implement now will ripple far into the future. And we have to go purity because that's our only choice. Which is a shame because I do love mutation, it's so much fun, but we'll see how good purity is, maybe that'll become a new favourite. Ooh, we've reached all the way from one side of the galaxy to the next. Not too difficult in the small galaxy size, but still.
System.
The rewards of genetic modification will secure our legacy, but every symbiont's role, every ounce of effort must be aligned with our vision of purity. We now face a critical decision. Should we optimize for perfection at the cost of adaptability, or should we embrace a broader strategy, prioritizing the infrastructure required to sustain these efforts? So that's extra unity and society research for 5 years, or... Oh! The regulatory node gets... I mean, this is obviously the correct choice. Okay, 5 years of that is fantastic, but this is giving our regulatory node the architectural focus trait, which is forever. So... Oh! Interesting. Can that normally even get that? It must be able to, right, if it's offered that? So that means, in theory, we can have 3 nodes with that trait. So that's a 30% discount for all of our buildings. Which is insanely powerful, considering we don't have to wait for pop growth, it's all about the buildings. Okay, Purity, you've already won me over. If our civilization is to become pure, we must first consider the well-being of the wilderness. The genetic modification process must ensure that every adaptation enhances the collective's resilience. Starting off on the wrong path, introducing changes that cause instability or undermine cohesion could be disastrous, threatening the very foundation of our unity. Extra habitability or council agenda speed, these are both pretty mild. Oh, they're permanent though! Oh! The thing is, we can only really terraform worlds similar to us, and eventually we'll terraform worlds into our type anyway. So, I actually think Council Agenda Speed is probably better here. Yeah. There we are. Minus 10% cost again, and now we have access to the specialty food production. This is going to be a massive bonus. Which is good, because it turns out we have another empire here as well, so not the best. We are now officially being surrounded. Yay! Building the last cradle. Now we're completely filled again, which is good. That's a good world there. That's a decent world there. Are any of these... By the way, look how many pre-FTL we have nearby. It's honestly fantastic. And you're a savannah. There we go. There's our next world of choice. Where are our ground forces? Go there. We have new friends to say hello to. Okay, that's going to be useful. So that's our first upgrade building. This will increase how much research we get from all of our researchers. We only have 1 researcher world, but still. We're grabbing the new world, and I've decided, weirdly, to go for even more unity. I would love Purity to have as many traits instantly picked as soon as it's done. If possible. Okay, I waited to do this so we could force a bit of border space. There we go. AI empires, even when you're playing a purifier, tend not to like going to war if there's a gap. So we made a gap. We could have sacrificed that earlier, but by sacrificing it now, we've kind of forced the gap to exist. I'm building a new bastion here. Things are looking great, by the way. 36 years in, we have almost 700 tech. Our unity is going through the roof. We are on our way to Biomorphosis. I just need the next tech to get that moving again. And we have some really good traits for our leaders, which is nice. Hopefully they'll level up again soon. And hopefully Growth Node will get that soon as well, so we can start grabbing more worlds a bit faster.
The wild expands.
Yes, I know we're under attack from the Void Worms. At the moment, though, I just don't really care. We're also getting so much resource, I'm going a little bit mad just spamming maulers. If we could go to war and take out one of these 2 empires, that would be fabulous. We have finished the Utone world. Yay. What does the relic do again? Extra energy weapon fire rate, which is great. Add a random district when colonizing a new world. Oh, that's new. And you can make your ships cheaper. I mean, honestly, the energy weapon fire rate is pretty nice, since we are using lasers. So, you know what? For once used, I am actually happy to see you. Which is a very rare thing. You know what? Let's go with these. We're about to finish off the tech, so we can continue Biomorphosis. We're about to grab basic combat rolls, which is really good for maulers. Oh, look, a relic world. We can't use relic worlds. like, at all, unless there's a certain tech which lets us, but I don't know if there is. Ooh, that's lovely. Okay, we found our new energy world, which is good, because suddenly we're losing energy. I did not set all these up correctly. Also, I did not name them, which is silly. You are Thorn 3, you are Thorn 4. Also, anyone else with dyslexia, do you have major issues with Roman numerals? Because it is one of the things which I absolutely loathe using sometimes. So you might ask yourself, why am I using it? Because it seems cool. But like anything past 10, my brain suddenly goes, I have no idea what this is I'm looking at. This is going to be try 12. A misstep in our calculations has led to a degradation of genetic integrity in our... I can't read this one. Help. A misstep in our calculations has led to a degradation of our genetic integrity in a significant number of our symbionts. Unfortunately, we have not yet been able to identify at which point the misstep occurred. Having reviewed the calculations involved in adapting our constituent parts, and having amended some imbalanced enzyme slurries, we are ready to continue our efforts. It is not yet certain, however, if we have actually rectified the error, or worse, introduced more blunders. Oh, I had to read that so many times. Okay. Slow down biomorphosis or sacrifice a bit of research. I'll happily sacrifice a bit of research. Jeez, some of them just hit my brain in the wrong way and everything goes wrong. Why are there so many pre-FTL? Just random good luck. So this is going to be our first true basic resource world. So how I'm going to treat these is I'm going to build 2 heart groves, allowing extra buildings, no extra community biomes, sorry, communal biomes, and then just all the base resource I'm after. So in this case, loads and loads of energy. This is going to fix all of our energy problems immediately. Also, look at how satisfying this is when you have the biomass for it. Just all of these beautiful buildings. The other hive is attacking us. I'm not that worried, actually. They're currently equivalent, and I am getting some major upgrades now. We have rank 3 to our lasers, sadly no upgrade yet to our mandibles, and now we're adding brains to our creatures. Yeah, I would like to see them try to take out the Purifier in this stage, especially since there's also a Bastion in the way. Okay, let's see how much power a Grand Admiral Hive Mind has. Ooh, that's actually a lot more than expected, but they're not coming in at the exact same time. Go Bastion, go, and then we devour their faces, like so. Oh, the AI was very dumb. That could have stood a chance, but it split the forces at the last second, which is so insanely dumb. We have barely contained the sudden outbreak of a genetic plague. Manipulating our own biology has triggered a rogue mutation in our DNA, leading to many symbionts becoming physically compromised. Affected symbionts have been quarantined, and we must now decide how to move forwards. End the symbionts, end the plague, or study the afflicted. This one has minus, so we go with the extra research. I just really... Yes, extra mandibles, there we go. But I just really want to finish off Biomorphosis. We're also now researching the first of our food upgrades to get more food from our jobs, which is going to be absolutely beautiful. Look how much energy we're now producing, by the way. Plus 500. I'm going to go Void Hunter rank 2.
Predatory shelter engaged.
Yeah, just take out everything we can until we see their forces again, then move back to the Bastion. Right now, I don't really care about getting more territory. It just isn't that useful to us. All I care about is defending ourselves until we've upgraded all the worlds we already have in our territory, which is going to take a while. Some empires get a lot from early warfare and everything else. We kind of don't. Oh, okay, we now have access to purity. Let me read ahead and let's make ourselves pure. So, honestly, reading Purity doesn't give me the same, oh my god, this is broken vibes as Mutation did, but it just seems functionally useful. So first of all, Purity gives you plus 20% to your leader lifespan. That's fantastic. It's a percentage, which is going to buff every other leader lifespan increase. That's great. Once we have all of Purity done, we get this really weird bonus. All districts are uncapped. That's similar to the Hive World bonus, which is great, so we can build as many of any district type as the world allows for its size. But also, every time we build a building or district, it increases the speed we build buildings and districts. That's going to be really good later, when every time I grab a world, I can immediately build everything on it, so cool. This next one's interesting. You can assimilate pops into pre-sapiens. I won't be able to because I automatically devour everything, but that's cool. And then the classic, you can remove positive traits and add negative traits. And then we have the even more classic, you get more points to spend on your species, and you get the advanced traits. Is there any new advanced traits? I don't know. But if it's just the classic stuff like the bigger brains, still really good. Extra leader starting traits, reduced starting age, which is nice, and then effective leader skill level. That last one is the good one, all of our leaders becoming slightly more powerful. We can expand the size of our planets a little bit more to +5. I don't know what the cap was before, but yay, more planet size increases. Then the really useful one, if not that exciting, minus 25% empire size from both planets and districts. Considering that's our main problem with empire size, that's very welcome. Oh good. We got to finish off Unity Purity straight away. Now we have a choice. Really, it's between Behemoth Fury and Defender of the Galaxy. Defender of the Galaxy is just an outright plus 50% extra damage versus the endgame. That's great. Behemoth Fury gives you all sorts of bonuses. We're not going to actually finish the Crisis, by the way. I've already done that in a past run. The link will be in the description, but this gives you so many bonuses to your farmers, to research, and I think it even makes your ships grow faster and get extra fire rates. Oh, and it makes them basically free of alloys. I think that will outdo the 50% extra damage, so we're going to go with Behemoth Fury. So straight away, there we go, society research from our pollinators increased. We can make the egg. Once we make the egg, we get extra fleet command and growth, more society research, and even more food from our farmers. Then we get extra armor hardening and hull, less alloys, which is great, extra biology research speed, and then fire rate. And we'll end it there before we completely become the behemoth. So what do I want next? I think really we should probably just grab expansion. It's boring, and it is literally because I want just two things, the extra districts and the reduced empire size, but the faster we get that, the less effect we have on all of our stuff. Yeah, it's boring, but we're going to go with expansion. Cool. That's a lot of stuff all finished off at once. So how much society research are we getting from our farmers then? Lots. Actually, that is more than I expected. Okay, farming worlds are going to be fantastic moving forwards. Good to know. Let's improve our species. If we remove intelligent, there we go, we get the bigger brains, loads of extra research from our researcher jobs, and we also get some bonuses from our leaders, which is great. What else do we want? Honestly, very strong is super tempting. It's only plus 5%, but considering we're also getting research from our basic jobs, that is insanely tempting. We definitely want natural sociologists. Or do we? That's only from our researchers again. So maybe we go with robust, because it's plus 5% to everything. Very strong. And that's it. Now I'm sure we'll get an extra point eventually, and when we do, I'll pop it into natural sociologists. For now, this is how we look. I think that's reasonable. And they should be incredibly quick, because I have like basically no populations at any given time.
Lost.
There we go.
Symbiotes are evolving.
That should be it. So, yep, there we go. Our leaders now have extra bonuses. Oh, you're really annoying. Okay, let's take out that small fleet there, please. Then make space again, then we'll start taking the worlds over here and causing all sorts of problems. There should be loads of extra
The
food.
canopy is under attack.
There we go. Now we need to increase the power of our main building if we want that to be any stronger. Look at how much energy we're making. Wow. Okay, we are in such a dominating position 43 years in. This is actually brokenly good. So once again, we have a research I really want next to another research I really want. This is just going to increase our job efficiency by 20%, so just loads of lovely bonuses. This gives us our third civic slot, which is going to be divided attention, which will cut our empire size negative by 25%, bringing it all the way down to only 50%, meaning our tech and our tradition costs are way, way cheaper. It's definitely this one, but I swear I never see these pop up, the job efficiency ones. But it has to be this one. Plus it also gives us access to the final upgrade of our main building, which means I can do all the final upgrades of all of these. For instance, right now I can't make this, which is something I really want, because not only does it give even more food from our farmers, our pollinators, it also increases their job efficiency, which sounds like the same thing, but it isn't, because that also means we get more tech. Oh, that's weird. When did my Cradles of Rebirth suddenly start giving society research? Where is it? Yeah, the brute... Why are they giving society research? Is that happening on all the planets? Is it an upgrade? No, it's happening on all the planets, so it can't be an upgrade of the main building. Okay, if anyone wants to tell me why my main building is suddenly giving me research, that is to say, our cradles, please tell me. Just saying it's producing it, but why? That was definitely not the case at the start of the game. Quite a lot of it as well, actually. Per cradle, it's 12 on that world, and the heart world, it's 14 with more bonuses. That is a lot of tech. Why am I getting that? What's happened to cause that? It must have been a side effect from something. Is it the Crisis? Is it the Behemoth Fury? No, it can't be that, because that's too low. I have no idea what
Predatory
tech
sheltering.
has suddenly done that. Oh, is it Purity? I genuinely have no idea where that's coming from. So I've been double checking all the tech I've got and everything else, and I still can't find where it's coming from. I might just be going insane. Now that I've got Robust, although I'm still not going to be converting worlds which aren't our usual just because it's so expensive, I will actually get some use out of any worlds we conquer. So... Oh, you're actually an arid. This run is blessed by the wilderness. But either way, any world type now, I'm pretty much going to keep. For instance, this Tundra world was a pre-FTL that just woke up, so we immediately just grabbed the system. And it's Tundra, but it's still 85% habitability, and as soon as we're on it, it's just absolutely fine. Now eventually, the end goal, as I probably mentioned in the intro, is every single world we can. I'm hoping every single world in the whole galaxy as a Gaia world. Which also means, for once, we need to grab the... Where are you? The Detox Ascension perk. One of the weakest Ascension perks in my opinion, but, you know, I want to purify the galaxy. We are, after all, the good guys. Okay, we now have access to our new civic slot, so straight away, divided attention. Make that empire size way less harsh.
Cleansing foreign blight.
That'll be the last of their resistance. Sadly, their ground forces are kind of insanely high on most of their worlds, but I do have a good chunk of extra ground forces coming. This will be their home system destroyed. After that, pretty much all their territory is ours for the taking. Oh, I thought that these subsidies only gave you just the resource, so it's like plus food, plus minerals, plus energy credits. It's not. It's output. I mean, this is going to cost a fortune in terms of energy and unity per month. But let's see what happens to our society. So currently we're getting a monthly gain of 1,616. 1,800, so that's a plus 200 to that, and of course physics and engineering was also affected. Interesting. And of course, loads plus 2,000 food. I can actually afford the egg. Well, I guess I'll be building the egg soon. I don't know where. Is there any gas giants around here next to this other empire? Any system here of a gas giant would be absolutely viable. And as soon as it hatches, we can send it against that. This might be the strongest run I've ever done, I've got to be honest.
Horizons widen, the wild experiments.
$2,422. That is a lot of protection in this world, apparently. Guess we'll go after everything else first, just try and take out the station so I'll stop reinforcing. I honestly couldn't have asked for a better start than this. Our first war is fantastic. First of all, we didn't even start it, which is just funny. But also, they happen to have loads of desert worlds. The only problem I have now is just I don't have enough biomass to keep on building as fast as I'd like, but that's the extent of our problems. Making our first Hunter World, which will have the Bone Garrisons. Also, I misread that as Bone Garden for a very long time. So these will just give us loads of Navy capacity. I'm hoping these are pretty efficient, because we're going to need a lot of Navy capacity later. I still think we're going to end up with quantity over quality by the end, because of just how many worlds we're going to have. So we're going to need thousands of Navy capacity. Expansion's finished. I'm leaving the Ascension perk for now because I really want World Shaper. I'm getting a lot of the Terraform techs, so hopefully soon I'll get Climate Restoration. Then I can start turning all of our worlds into Gaia worlds. I am not too sure what to go with for the last two. Honestly, Supremacy seems like the obvious choice. More Navy capacity, extra fleet limits, it's everything we really want. But Statecraft seems really good because of how much reliance I'm having on certain traits. I really want Optimizer finished, I really want Architectural Focus finished, there's loads of other stuff, and if we don't get that, we could be not max level by the end of the game. Synchronicity is good, because we can start ascending our planets, making them cheaper, plus we just have a load of other bonuses like extra stability. Though, honestly, there's not many things there which are particularly good other than that. So maybe not Synchronicity, maybe Domination and Supremacy. Domination decreases the empire size from districts, and I know I'm focusing too much on empire size, but I loathe seeing that too high, and it's going to get massive. And districts are a big part of our empire size. Actually, at the moment, they're the biggest part. This would reduce that, but it also increases menial drone output. A lot of our tech and a lot of our resources is coming from our menial drones. This also gives us more influence, which at the moment isn't a massive problem, but I'm constantly needing it to use Mastery of Nature. Also increases Counselor experience gain, so I think Domination, then last Supremacy. I can always change my mind later, but I think Domination is a guarantee. There we go, the growth node now also has Architectural Focus, so that's a 30% discount on all buildings. So how much does a cradle now cost? Only 200, so it's it's half the cost of the original. That is really good. Okay, we've just got Climate Restoration. We're now researching the ability to make our Harbingers, which is one of the two final craft we're going to be spamming. So now we have World Shaper, and we can convert our worlds into Gaia worlds. How expensive is it? It is not as expensive as I expected, actually. 4,219. Takes a good few years, though. However, we can activate Terraforming gases, which massively decreases it. Fantastic. So that's really it. Every world we have, we're going to be converting into a Gaia world, which will give us... I think really it's just the plus 10% resource. I don't think anything else really matters, except for, of course, the fact that we're nice and happy knowing that finally nature has won. Don't underestimate the power of having uncapped districts. Obviously, it's still limited by the size of the planet, but when you have a world like this, with a really nice bonus, suddenly this world is a lot more powerful. Every single district is going to become one of our solar districts. Then once that's upgraded, we can upgrade this, which will further increase how much we get. So loads of physics research, and absolutely buckets of energy. I assume you collect energy in buckets. Meanwhile, I'm starting to build a new swarm of maulers back in the home system, and now we finally have access to our growth glands, which means we can start building our mature maulers. And in fact, we even got the tech for the second one almost straight away. So soon, we're gonna have elders. Why does it never automatically give them basic brains? And actually, what do I want the elders to have? Extra sublight speed or more damage with the mandibles. Honestly, the sublight speed is so important for the maulers. Durasteel infrastructure, rank 2. Is this gonna stack with rank 1? So just another minus 10 cost to all of our buildings? Well, we'll find out soon enough. So currently they cost 200 biomass. We'll see if that's still the case soon. So how I'm figuring it is that the worlds are best if you have one district at least of every basic resource, so that you can convert them into their specialty and add the buildings. Now this isn't so good early on because, well, we need the biomass for other more important stuff, but I think that's how you're going to get the most out of every building, especially if you're running this build where everything is giving you tech. We're at 5k tech, 50 years in. Now yeah, our empire size is massive, but it's only giving us a plus 50% cost, which is very little. I found some other empires down here. Now these are still equal to us fleet power wise, so we do need to start really ramping up our military. We are on the hardest difficulty, the enemies are not exactly easy, but at the moment we're equivalent enough, and none of them are friends. They're not working together. Oh, there we go, a big old bonus for finishing off all of galactic history. As we feasted so thoroughly on this galaxy, we have filled our stores with xenogeology curios. This vast collection serves only to remind us of the hunger that cannot be sated. Once this galaxy has been devoured in full, we will look upon these items and savour the memories of taste. 80,000 Unity! Okay. That was more than I expected. Well, there's domination just finished. What do I even go with from here? I mean, technological ascendancy is pretty nice. I'm not getting many percentage bonuses, which is a big problem with hive minds in general, so it's a bit stronger for a hive mind than regular. I would like galactic force projection as well. Some super fleets would be nice, so our admirals are better spent. Colossus project could be fun, but isn't really needed for this type of empire. Master builders, fun. We definitely don't need galactic wonders. We can't use the ring worlds. We get so much minerals from any mineral world, that's not really a problem. And we get so much energy, that's not really a problem. So technological ascendancy, galactic force projection, and maybe master builders, because some of the basic megastructures I would really like the science nexus. I definitely want the mega shipyard. In fact, I think I need the mega shipyard and the strategic center. Yeah, let's go with that. So tech to try and get all that stuff, and then those two. Seems reasonable to me. You know what? My first ascension is going to be our energy world.
The canopy is under attack.
Because it's currently producing almost 600 research, over 600 research now, and 3,200 energy. It's basically a Dyson sphere. The egg has been created, so now more food, which is just not needed. More society research. Okay, at this point, I'm starting to think we're going to be kind of forced to focus mostly on Strikecraft, because Strikecraft is the only repeatable, in terms of your ships, which is in the society tree. That's kind of a problem, because as much as I love the Harbingers, and I do, I don't think they're as good as battleships focused around Strikecraft from other empires when you look at them. Their final version is 4 Strikecraft, and then loads of point defense. that doesn't seem as good as the other battleships with more options. Especially since you can have a size X weapon and then the strike craft. But of course, we won't be using them alone, but if all of our research is only in strikecraft, it means that the stingers and everything else are going to really flag behind. On the upside, strikecraft are the universal weapon. There's pretty much nothing which is incredibly good against them. They do good versus everything, so that's nice. I really don't know what's going to end up happening. Maybe I do need to make more research worlds over just our material worlds. But the more material worlds we have, the more we can spam everything, so I'm not entirely sure what you're meant to do here. I mean, I am making a new research world right now. It's pretty good. It's giving us a bit of everything. But then you look at our pollinator worlds, and it's just... Obviously, it's less overall tech, but not by a huge amount, and so much food. I mean, look at this world. 4,000 food, 1,000 society research. Activating reverse engineering every chance we have. We're about to go to war with the Mandate, who are they're just in such a bad place. They went to war early on with the Coalition and lost and never recovered. They're squished between two places, and I think they grabbed too many worlds too early. So we're just going to absolutely run through them. Then we're going to wait for the Behemoth to hatch and go to war with the Coalition. This way, the entire top section, or at least most of the top section of the galaxy, is going to be ours already. Meanwhile, back at home, we have a couple of juvenile harbingers already born. Look how tiny they are. It's shocking we're already making our final fleets, 65 years into the game. I've just realised I've been forgetting to name all of our worlds Thorn. I'm gonna have to rename a lot of things. Plus, I actually need to, sort out my sectors, which I don't really have at the moment. There's been a lot of other stuff to focus on, to be completely honest, so yeah, that's all going to happen in a moment. Meanwhile, back at the home system, our first Harbinger fleet has now reached 115k fleet power. So far, no Elders, only the mature variant. So that's going to still get a bit scarier. So good to know, Strikecraft are going to be our very best friend. Only 2 years left for the Behemoth egg to hatch, and we've already taken over a good chunk of the territory from the Mandate, so we're definitely going to finish them off long before the egg hatches. Cool. That's a lot of territory for us. The Behemoth has been birthed, so not quite finished with the Mandate, but pretty close. But right now I need to get all of my maulers to babysit the Behemoth, because it's probably going to have a rampage soon. It's a very angry child. So this is giving us, well, it's making our ships basically free of alloys, although the upkeep is still the same, the initial cost is gone, extra research speed into biology, which is okay, and extra hull. Then we have some tech we can do, which is nice and easy. In fact, it's only 1 month's worth. And that'll instantly get us this, increasing our fire rate by 15%.
The roots
Beautiful.
of wisdom deepen.
So that should have made our ships even scarier. Yes, it certainly has. Not bad for 2,772. Our Behemoth already went on a rampage, but thankfully its babysitters / bodyguards were very quickly able to get it back on our side. Because here at LathCorp, we believe in only the strictest parenting, and sometimes the strictest parenting requires mandibles. I really wish more of our enemies had this. Cultivated worldscaping. Decreases habitability, which doesn't matter for us since everything's turning into Gaia worlds, and increases our max districts by 3. That's just lovely. And it stays there even after we've taken it over and converted it, so that's just really, really nice. Finally doing all the archaeology sites. I'll be doing the Astral Rifts soon as well. Oh, our neighbour here's attacking as well. I've got to be honest, I don't think any of the regular empires now stand a chance against me. It's 75 years into the game, and look at my fleets. These are my backup fleets. Not even the main fleets, these are just the Harbingers, who are still not Elders yet. Ooh, though it should be, like, now.
Strengthened.
Are you about to change into
The wild
Elders?
spreads.
Yes, brilliant. Okay, the war is over. Another empire has been completely consumed by the wilderness. So, almost immediately, we're going to go to war with the Coalition, who have vassalized the Hive over here. The Hive have no military, so I'm just sending a small fleet over so we can take over all this, take over the Coalition, then after that it'll be the Theocracy. There seems to be no friends in all of the enemies, which is great, so we're not going to get into wars with multiple enemies anytime soon, except for a few vassals, which isn't really a problem. Meanwhile at home, we're still getting all the researches sorted to make our Harbingers as strong as possible, and we are spamming absolutely loads of them. Good. A lot of our new worlds, though, will have to be command worlds. What's it called? Hunter worlds. Yeah, we're going to need a few of those. And now, it's also time to start finally naming our worlds, because we have a lot of them to sort out, along with a lot of sectors to sort out. So, incoming a lot of micromanagement. For me, not for you. That's something I should have thought about before. The Astral Siphon. This increases how much physics your researchers give. However, I don't know if that's gonna work with our drones. Physics research from physicists +1. Physicists are converted into astral researchers. Well, we don't have physicists. We have physics symbiotes. I'm gonna place it down a few times anyway. If it does work, you'll be seeing these on most of my research worlds. Kinda forgot I needed detox. Maybe galactic force projection wasn't needed. It would have been nicer to have the mega engineering one. Now I'm finally getting that tech. But on the upside, because we have ascension theory, we can activate this ambition. Plus 20% research speed with +1 alternatives. Fantastic. Here we go. The second of our leaders now has rank 3 architectural focus. So that's minus 10% upkeep from our buildings and districts, extra planetary build speed, which we do not need, but it is nice to have, and then the main thing, minus 15% to the cost of buildings and districts. That is so much. So now, a Cradle of Rebirth only costs 120. I always go back to this one, because I know this one's 400 to begin with. That is so much cheaper. So I probably don't need many more Cradles. Actually, no, I do, because it's really expensive to terraform barren and toxic worlds, and there's going to be a lot of those before we end the game. So never mind, we do still need them, but on the upside, when we grab worlds, we can pretty much immediately just spam every single district and building. In fact, we're now past 30 worlds. And so we begin the construction of the mega shipyard.
Growth continues.
This is requiring a lot of micromanagement. But essentially, this is how every one of our tech worlds is going to look. So we have one of each regular district, all fully upgraded buildings. Then we have the double think stem, a single Cradle of Rebirth, and a single Astral Siphon. This is because this single district, because of the buildings it unlocks, ends up giving us almost 500 food and 102 research, which is more research than a single communal biome district. So it is totally worth having all 3 of these capped out. Even though it's very expensive, it'll make our worlds as efficient as possible. Because getting really high research numbers isn't that easy with this particular empire. Now, to be fair, we're still getting plenty of research, it's just not as much as you'd expect for how many worlds we have. It just so happens that all of our other resources are absolutely insane. We're not even on 2,300 yet, and we're on 23,000 food per month. We have loads of extra star bases, we don't care because of our energy generation. We have loads of rare resources just going through the roof as well. This empire at this point, I think, is basically unstoppable. We have at least a million fleet power total. At least. And once the mega shipyard's open, well, that's going to increase even faster. Since I didn't mention it specifically, yes, the Astral Siphon and its upgraded variants do work with the Wilderness. It doesn't change the job title, but it still gives it the extra physics and the extra astral thread. We're making hundreds of astral thread right now, which I simply cannot spend. And we're also making over 100 minor artifacts a month. We don't need either, but we have them. And that's nice. Just quickly, whilst I'm finishing off the empires to the south, I have to say, Detox has to be my least favourite Ascension perk, and I don't even think it's close. There are other Ascension perks which don't give you all that much, but this one I think should just be a research or something else. So all Detox does is it enables you to turn toxic worlds into habitable worlds. It allows you to terraform them. This is incredibly expensive and takes a very long time. Which is really weird, since barren worlds and other worlds of different types, if I can actually find one in my borders like this one, you can just terraform anyway by just getting a certain research type. It seems so odd that it has to be an Ascension perk. So you've spent the Ascension perk slot, you've spent all the money and time to terraform the world, you get the brand new world, and then you have all of these really nasty tile blockers. Now, thankfully, we can clear them quite quickly because all the bonuses we have, but it's a load of them, so it's just one other negative. Okay, I need to stop making military for a while. We are now approaching 6,000 Navy capacity usage. We need way more Hunter Worlds, and the reason why I'm not focusing on our anchorages, although I am building them, is just because a Hunter World gives you so much more. So a Hunter World, like this one here, is giving me 470 Navy capacity. And I may need to use a Grand Fleet by the end. I'm trying to save up some Unity. I can't really upgrade too many worlds. I honestly think if we weren't the Devouring Wilderness and we had elevational desires, we would potentially be stronger. It sounds silly, but being able to upgrade the world to ascend them is such a massive bonus when you get so many increased resources from your menial jobs, which are also kind of our tech jobs. So this world here is now a level 8 Ascension, and it is producing 822 physics research, almost 4,000 energy, and 190 to society research. That is a lot. So much so, I said society twice at the same time. We are also at peace now that that war's over. The League is next, and that will be quite literally half of the galaxy completely under my control. And that means, while we're at peace, it's time to rename our worlds into Variants of Thorn. Which also means I need to look up how to write 40 in Roman numerals. It's like an XL, right? There's like a 50% chance I'm right.
Predatory shelter engaged.
You know how I was really complaining about Detox mere moments ago for you? Well, it turns out, with the Void Hives, these worlds here are actually kind of fantastic. The one I'm already converting is a size 34. That's 26 and that's 20. That is a really powerful system, which you need Detox in order to fully use. Okay, that makes me like Detox a little bit more. Not much, but a little bit more. These poop worlds will be glorious one day. I mean, poop worlds, yeah? Oh, giant robot metal sphere, you are not nature, you will be devoured.
Engaged.
Not worth it. Nope. Should have left it live. Yep. Fun. Also yes. Oh, whoops. So these guys don't have the AI to run far enough away at the moment because they haven't been upgraded. Oh, but our strike craft really hurt. That's fine then. Okay, we accidentally killed one of the Leviathans. That's fine. And actually, there was something I really wanted to check with the Harbingers. So the Harbingers, I literally didn't know this until a moment ago when I was just checking around some things, have an artillery version. They don't lose any of their strike craft, but they do gain 2 of these. Oh, they can actually use proton throwers. Oh, Harbingers, you've just made me very happy. Okay, so proton throwers do more damage the larger the target, and absolutely rip apart any enemy which doesn't have shields. What's the Elder version like? 4 of them. Oh my lord, we are the absolute bane of the Scourge and probably good against everything except for the Unbidden, but then we still have the Strikecraft, so that's fine. Well, you're looking at my new favourite ship in the game, because that is such a fun combo. Really good range on them as well. Okay, glory to the Harbinger span, you've just became more of a thing I want. The real question, though, is do the fighter wings of the Harbinger attack missiles and strikecraft similar to regular strikecraft? I don't know. Because if they don't, these are actually going to be quite vulnerable. But also way more fun, so I don't care. Well, this may be the final war against anything that's not the Fallen Empire. I'm currently at war with the League and the Entity, and it turns out the Kingdom and the Entity are basically one thing because the Kingdom has the Entity as a vassal. This was probably one of the easiest runs. I can't believe how strong this Empire is so quickly. We just snowballed to such a degree which nothing could possibly stop us. I am a little bit disappointed in the power level of some of the enemy AI. But at the same time, it's hard to exactly tell when I've become this strong this quickly. I don't think 100 years in I've ever had this much fleet power and this much economy. How am I at 0 alloys? Alloys. I've just been looking back at the last couple of hours of clips. It's currently 3 AM. Today's been a really rough day, and I think I've lost my mind at some point.
Greetings, Explorer. I am your advisor. Reeve.
The advisor returns. I'm gonna just destroy you. Gonna take out these marauders because we may as well. Oh yeah, that happened. So our war with the Entity has been halted for now. We're now in a peace treaty, super annoyingly, because their vassalization status changed. I don't quite get how it would do that considering the state they're in, but apparently that's just what happened. So we're gonna have to just sit around for the next 14 or so years. I guess I really should try and get more scientists and start exploring this area. We can just teleport all the way over, which is great, so probably should do that.
Error. You have yet to learn everything.
And we never will.
Assistance mode aborted.
We're going to completely destroy it.
My sensors indicate you are in need of assistance. Would you like to re-enable guidance?
That sounded so malicious, please go away. Thanks to the Astral Nexus, giving us +4 to our physics researchers at the cost of a lot of minerals, we're now at 60k research with our physics almost caught up with our society research. It just means our laser weapons are actually competitive with our strikecraft now, which is really good, because that was going to be a big problem. We have so much to work on. I think this period of peace is actually a blessing because there is so much to do. Our worlds will be perfect. It just takes a lot of clicks. We found Dacha. This is the system which is originally completely separated from the rest of the galaxy. Somehow they now have lines going into them, which is a shame, because I'd love a system which is completely separate. And it's a load of very big Gaia worlds. Well, it's a few big Gaia worlds, all of which are about to become ours. Yay, even more worlds. Also a random pirate fleet. Neat. There's a maximum naval capacity? Well, that is the first time I've ever seen that. Has that always been the case? 9,999. Huh. That's really annoying. Our science nexus is complete. So that's a lovely plus 15% research speed. In 1 year's time, we'll be going to war with the Entity, which will be an absolute pushover. I can't believe how weak the enemies are at this stage of the game. I think I should have gave them the tech bonus as well, though I've never needed to do that in the past. So a little bit disappointed with the current patch in terms of difficulty, but oh well. The main thing was testing out this Empire, which has been absolutely insane. And of course, fighting the endgame crisis, which should be fairly soon. Trying to put down as many gateways as possible. I can't stand doing hyperlines, this is the only other way. I may have already mentioned this, but it is a brand new day of recording, I'm actually awake for once. Okay, apparently this enemy was made of a single world, despite the fact it controlled this whole area, which is really annoying. So, just need to clear all of the mining corps and the void worms and everything else. Then we'll go after the kingdom, so we'll just continue this war here. Once the kingdom's gone, that's the last of the regular empires, which we can say were completely destroying nature. Then there's the weird hive mind. Now, they have turned their worlds into hive worlds, but they're also just kind of sitting here doing absolutely nothing. If I remember correctly, the war splinter is actually quite hard to destroy, yet because it has these really nasty stations. So do I go after that before the endgame crisis? We'll see how fast we deal with the kingdom. If we deal with them in the next 4 or 5 years, maybe I'll try and go after the fallen empire. If not, just keep on reinforcing our main systems, getting ready for the crisis. I'm currently making loads more stingers, which is going to get more and more difficult as the maintenance increases. In one of the astral rifts, you can have this, which is the windswept planet, where you find out 2 species are essentially constantly harming each other. There's bacteria in the wind, and there's fungus in the caves. And if you completely side with one, you destroy the other, or you can research both, and then save them both, coming to a compromise. I researched both, but because we're the Blood Forest, we can only eradicate both species.
Predatory shelter engaged.
The Stellar Devourer.
New knowledge.
Yeah, our strike craft are doing a lot of damage now. What I think I'm going to do is build a gateway here. If the endgame crisis hasn't arrived by the time the gateway is completely finished, then we're going to face off against the fallen empire. They'll be the last force in the galaxy. Unless we also open up the L gates, but there is no reason to open up the L gates. The last of the regular empires has been removed. All that's left now is the fallen empire, and we have 750 days until our gateway is complete, and we will pour on through and devour every last one of them. So we're currently still using our anti-armor weapons. The reason is, it looks like the fallen empire fleets basically don't use shields. Now, I'm fairly certain their fortresses use a lot of shields, but the actual fleets themselves are going to be very vulnerable to that, which is really weird. So, that'll start fairly soon. Once they're wiped out, I think we'll get the victory screen, but we will wait a good long while for the endgame crisis. I mean, there's still plenty of worlds to convert. Oh yeah, I also have a lot of worlds to rename. This is gonna take a while. There is such a chance I've just got these wrong, but okay, so there we are. Thorn 114. Yeesh, that's a lot of worlds I've been micromanaging. You know what, it's a tomb world, so I think it's only fitting we make this completely full of life and we make it yet another food world. The amount of society research our food worlds are producing anyway, it's not really like it's absolutely loads of science being lost. Just trying to keep up my science at least a little bit just to make sure we're not falling too behind on repeatables. They're currently taking about between 15 and 20 months each, so they are pretty slow. But we are getting quite a few of them done. There we are, we have 14 of the Strikecraft ones done, we have 10, well, about to be 10 of the energy weapons done, and we have loads of the other Strikecraft one as well, because it's fire rate and damage. Yeah, some of our fleets are approaching 1 million fleet power each now. And it's mostly these. These things are nasty, our Harbingers. We are 230 days away from our Juggernaut, so I think I'll wait until this thing's created. Plus 20% damage to all Strikecraft, considering Strikecraft are our major damage source. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. Why would I wait? I have millions and millions and millions of fleet power all ready to go. You know what? No, let's go to war.
The hunt begins.
God, the lag with all these together. Let's get moving.
Predatory shelter engaged.
Strikecraft immediately released. I'm waiting for the battleships to fire. I'm actually also looking forward to seeing the Harbinger's energy weapons, though the Harbingers are going to stay so far back.
Growth continues.
There we go, all the size X weapons. Now where are they going to
Old
go?
growth
Here's the thing.
cleared for new life.
This is a weird type of war because fallen empires apparently don't want to exist. They aren't going to be able to take our systems, simply be really annoying. If we surrender, we get humiliated. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to keep on moving and try and take out their
Danger
homeworld
inbound.
with all those horrible stations. These are going to be quite difficult because it's quite
Growth
close
continues.
range. Oh, the lag.
The
How everything's
weeds
moving
have
around
been
is
pruned.
terrible. Whoops.
Predators engaged.
There's little plasma weapons. Oh, yep, the plasma weapons immediately taking out the ships before the strikecraft even get there. Yeah, the Harbingers are definitely going to be the bulk of our damage, I think. Oh, physics, definitely. Please get me some more energy weapon damage. Oh, the game is gonna crash. Because all the strikecraft just decided to move targets. Just finish off this guy, thank you. There we go, the lag's gone. I swear, I'll not mention lag too much more moving forwards.
System observed.
Here's hoping they're using weapons which can be shot down. Oh yeah, I see a lot of missiles. And this is a chance to see if the strikecraft will shoot them down. No. Though it doesn't really matter, our Harbingers are packed with anti-munition weapons. The strikecraft themselves are just an extra bit of that. The unending swarm.
Shelter lost.
Oh, we have our first 1 million power fleet. There it is. Of course it is Harbinger spam. My dog did not like that, apparently.
The weeds have been pruned.
I found a death world called Trial of Survival. I'm gonna make it really pretty and weak. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, we need a proper melee commander, a proper ground force commander. I don't have one at the moment. This one just happened to have Destroyer. Also, our Leviathan is finally here. There he
Clarity
is.
spreads.
Sorry, our Juggernaut, rather. Isn't he pretty? It's like an angry moth.
Danger inbound.
So, while that's alive, all of our strikecraft are deadlier. The next worlds are a lot easier. Now that we're about to finish off the soldier part of this thing's brain, the others are the control splinter and the growth splinter, neither of which have particularly strong worlds. Or even big stations. Okay, so I'm clearing out the last thought system. This is where they failed to become a behemoth, if you ever do the archaeology site. And I just killed a toxic god. Where is it? One of these, a second ago, this one here. Toxic gods, attack swarm, venom beam, spit defense swarm. Dragon's Breath, Wing Skewer, Drake's Lightning, Large Dragon Scale Armor. Oh my god, we should have done this ages ago. This is going to be a massive upgrade to our armor, and I don't even know what the attack swarm is from the Toxic Guard. Is that better than our Strikecraft? Can I use it? I don't know.
Predator world absorbed.
Well, I got all excited, then it didn't give me anything which it said it was going to potentially give me. So here's hoping that's slightly different for this one. Come on, 80%, 90%. Will I get access to the better armor and things?
Remains dissected.
Artificial dragon scales. Cool. Okay, so at least we got one thing. It's not much, but it's something, I suppose. Turns out the new armor from the dragon we killed is way better than I originally thought it was. The last version is 1,390 armor per piece. This is 1,775. A massive increase. We also now have the dark matter metabolism. Doesn't do much, but a little bit of extra power means a little bit of extra damage, so sure. One of our new worlds started to rebel against us because it's a hive world which we can't do anything with. Thankfully, distributing amenities has already quelled all the problems, so it turns out the wilderness really good at stopping revolts, even on worlds I literally can't use. But soon they will be arid, and everything will be better. Then Gaia. Our behemoth was killed by a random pirate event. I'd left it alone for a second since I was moving some things around and that happened. Obviously, we're now going to quickly get some revenge. Turns out though, you don't need the behemoth for all the behemoth bonuses. I really thought something would happen if you're completely out of behemoths, but apparently not. I didn't need to babysit that thing this entire time. Well, the Fury's dead, which means we've just won the game. Every single other empire has been destroyed in the name of nature. Most worlds are already Gaia worlds, the rest are quickly being taken over. Now I have enough science vessels to grab everything else.
Clarity spreads.
Oh, that doesn't look right. Okay, so apparently converting a hive world into a regular world really messes up the districts. What if I remove all of these? Will I get my... There's an issue here. I do have communal biomes, but I have nowhere to build regular buildings, which means I can't build the basic building, the main building, which means I can't upgrade anything. So that's not really a good world. If I were to abandon the world, then re-terraform it, maybe that would give it back. So once I've killed all the population here, I mean, peacefully assimilated them into nature, then I'll go ahead and abandon the colony and remake it into a desert world again. Maybe that will fix this. Don't think the devs thought about terraforming a hive world after the update to hive worlds. I can speak to the curators as the Blood Forest. Well, I kinda wish I knew that. More Unity, sure, thank you, I now have a new relic. I opened up the L gate and it turns out it was the L Drakes. We can't do anything with them, being a purifier, except for kill them, and then they just give us some extra research, which is definitely a thing. I can't even terraform the world, sadly, since it wasn't one of the various nanite events. And speaking of terraforming worlds, I believe now every single world in the map is either being converted, is already converted, or is unconvertible. We can't convert relic worlds, and obviously the habitats left behind by some of the empires. And that's it. So once all of those are converted into Gaia worlds, I am probably going to call it. The endgame crisis could have showed up for the last 25 years, and we've kind of reached the point now where it's going to be a bloodbath for the crisis. Half of our fleet is out doing other things. You can see here we have multiple million strength fleets. All ready to be pretty good versus any crisis type. And that's all the Eldrakes removed. So if you build a communal district, it half fixes the worlds which were once hive worlds, but you still can't build the main building. So not quite. A Nexus Storm. Definitely one of the prettier storms. Also one of the scary ones. This one does a lot of damage to ships and stations. Since we've completed so many rifts, we're now here in the center of the galaxy. So we can help save these lovely fellas. Now if we do save them, we have a chance to make them our vassal, which will increase our research speed into physics. It's either increase the research speed or reduce the cost of physics research. Essentially it's the same thing regardless, so I've just got a single fleet here and by accident my ground forces. And I'm going to defend them for a while, because, yeah, that fleet's 1.6 million now. Our fleets are ridiculous. I really hope the enemy arrives soon. I don't care which crisis it is. I guess the Scourge and the Contingency are probably what we want the most. The Unbidden the least, I think. It is, like, so light at this point. Okay, so because I'm a Purifier... Give us the throne that you speak of. You are stronger than I expected.
Invasive growth engaged.
Yep, and we were point blank with our fleets. Well, that was silly. Yeah, that'd have gone a lot better if we were already at this range. You can see now, this is why carriers can be such nightmares. As long as the system's big enough, they'll all run away. This is why I tend to go with speed bonuses for carriers. And they'll just slowly chip away at the enemies. If the enemies are using missiles or strike craft, we also have loads and loads of countermeasures. Steadily, the strike craft will rise. And they're going to be taken out. It does take a long time for Strikecraft to really get going. And the Anchor's shields are about to fall, which means now, yep, those energy weapons are doing full damage. And the Formless have been destroyed, and we get the Eternal Throne. I cannot remember what the Eternal Throne does. All leaders are immortal, we get extra Astral Thread. Well, that's a shame. Any worlds here? Yes! This will be the last world, actually, for us. Every other world is now a Gaia world. At least every world we can, in fact, turn into a Gaia world has already been converted. Except for this one toxic one, which apparently I completely ignored. Okay, then. We have the Scourge as our endgame crisis. I swear, I must get the Scourge 2/3 of the time. I think in the next run, if we go to the crisis, I'm going to make it something else. Tell me in the comments which endgame crisis you would like to see. I still haven't done the Synthetic Queen, but I also haven't seen the Contingency in literally years at this point. Okay, I want them to be anywhere except our home system. That is literally the only place I don't want them to be. And they are located. Lovely. I don't actually have too much coverage there with the gateways. Oh, I guess we have one there. Nah, that's fine. Do I have an ability to lock down... Yes, the seal. So I got this from one of the multiple rifts earlier. Place a lock on all wormholes and L gates within your borders for 5 years. So I definitely want that because there's at least one wormhole right there, which will cause all sorts of nuisances. So I want my fleets to start moving there immediately, because if we can shut down the scouts, I'm not sure if it still does this, but that could end the crisis straight away while still having some fun fights. So yeah, let's activate the seal. So now all gateways, yep, are locked. So only we can go through. Yeah, you're going to want to move because you're going to be in the way otherwise. And I'll find the other fleets now. The fleets are all together. Now, honestly, I've been a little bit disappointed by the Harbinger so far, but these should be the perfect enemies for them. So we'll see how they do. Plus, of course, we have loads and loads of stingers, which are just spamming tachyon beams and the gamma lasers. So that should be lots of damage versus armor. They have arrived. As I should do in a second. Come on, then hurry up and arrive. Thank you.
Shelter being ravaged.
What?
The canopy
I thought
is
you
under
were
attack.
way bigger than that of your... I mean, these are just the scouts, but I thought there were more fleets. The strength is correct. I thought it was like 1.6, 1.7. So these are the smaller variants. These don't have as many missiles or anything. I don't have any strike craft. But even so, I think we'll just move here, and hopefully they'll split up a little bit. The biggest problem with strike craft is that they tend to split between enemy fleets. So we don't really want more than one fleet at a time if we can manage it. Less so because of the numbers, more so because of that effect. Okay, you're gonna go, okay. Looks like we're gonna fight all three of you straight away, and really straight away. Okay, strike craft already on the way, and here are the little blobs of damage, which should be doing nothing, because they're all gonna miss. So far it's just the strike craft. Will the battleships please get in range? That would be lovely. Is that fire from the battleships? I think there's so many, we're not seeing the full visual. There we go. Yep, those are the lances, and wow, are they causing a lot of deaths per second. Okay! Battleships were the main ships all along. Who would have thought? Game. Ooh, that lagged out so badly. You two still heading towards here? Oh, don't really want to go point blank. We'll end up losing some of our ships. You're going to there. Okay. The thing is, though, I know it'll cause more losses going head first, but we do need to destroy these, and I think that will end the Scourge. So it is a risk-reward thing. Do we just go headlong into them, or do we try and play it smarter?
Shelter being ravaged.
Okay, here we are.
Invasive growth engaged.
Next fleet. All of the strike craft, all those little shots. Yeah, the strike craft damage is really underwhelming me.
Station severed.
Oh, do I have a Mauler group? Oh, sorry, Mauler group. I didn't know you existed still. Thankfully, we are obliterating them so fast, thanks to the Stingers. We're not really losing too many. Okay, there goes another one. Now we do have to go headlong into them before the other group starts moving out. Which they already are. Okay, now it's going to get a little bit more painful. And what I'm going to do is bonus damage to armor. Then we're going to double check to make sure we have all of the damage bonuses already active. I think I should. I do. Good. And that's pretty much it.
Growth continues.
It's not too bad if you leave,
Predators
actually.
engaged.
Oh, this is what we didn't want to see. Yep, the strike craft are going to do their dance of moving between targets, but again, thankfully we have a lot of stingers, which will be the bulk of the damage. So many big numbers. Okay, station down. The Maulers are surviving longer than I expected versus the crisis damage. We don't actually have that many armor repeatables done, mind you. Our armor research, our engineering research is very poor. Okay, all that's left now is the final groups. Are you coming through? Well, I'm afraid we are going to headbutt you then. Why is... Okay, fine. You know what? I don't know why this fella's lagging behind. I thought I selected it, but apparently not. Hopefully it arrives before the fight's over. I can't even see the Scourge in that bundle. Strikecraft, can you please fight the thing currently biting your face off, and not the thing in the center of the system. I should really check to see how much damage is being dealt by each thing. So of our damage, the tachyon beam, then the neutron thrower, then... Wow, that is so much less. I know the strikecraft takes a long time to get going, but... Yeah, the strikecraft are doing only a fraction. Oh, actually, no, this one's a bit better, but still. The tachyon beam massively leading, and then the neutron thrower and strikecraft pretty much equal. Okay, just need to destroy the workers, if at all possible. Because who doesn't love a war crime to end the video? And then I don't know if that fully turns off the Scourge like it used to. So just in case it doesn't, can you all please back off a bit? We now have access to the Scourge missiles, and I thought they were better than that. Minus 20% armor damage. I knew they were basically anti-shield weapons, but I thought they also did bonus damage versus armor. I was completely off there. Then we have the Swarm Strikers, which are very high average damage, complete shield penetration, and then armor penetration, 66%. Those will probably do a lot better than what we currently have. Okay, the second wave. Ooh, that is a lot bigger numbers. Okay, so they are bigger numbers, but a lot of these rely on strikecraft and missiles, more so than the little ones. Which means, although they are a lot stronger, they're also more counterable. We just don't really want to fight all of them at once. If we can just have a number of fights where it's one of their fleets versus our death group, we're going to be fine, I think. Meanwhile, though, back at home, I have been spamming pretty much everything, so we have loads of juveniles currently growing back in our growth chambers. Along with loads and loads of harbingers. These only mature? Wow, this mature fleet is 1 million. That is kind of insane. Curious to see how much stronger the Swarm Strikers are going to be. Kind of a stress test here, 2 fleets versus all of ours. Oh, I can confirm the strikecraft do shoot down the enemy strikecraft. That is something I actually didn't think was a thing with our strikecraft. Apparently I was wrong. The Maulers can get really close before they get hit. That acid blast must be such a short-range weapon. Are those strikecraft just making the Scourge completely neutered? I'm not seeing any destruction on our side. Oh, I'm seeing some shots. Note they're being shot down by our point defense. Okay, so the strikecraft don't shoot down the missiles. That's where the regular point defense is necessary. We are the immune system of the galaxy. And we are an angry one. So looking back, we lost 1 Stinger, 2 Stingers. That entire fight, we lost 2 Stingers. 177 damage. 216. So yeah, the Swarm Strikers are just outright stronger than the Fighter Wing. Though then we have to ask, what's better, the bonus damage to armor or bypassing it? Considering we're not getting the kill that regularly with the Harbingers already, I think the extra damage to weaken the armor for weapons like the Neutron Throwers and of course the Tachyon Lancers is still probably better. That being said, I'm still going to use the Swarm Strikers because it's funny. We probably won't see them though, sadly, till the end. Well, because I don't think this fight's going to last much longer.
The canopy is under
Incoming a single
attack.
fleet, which of course is going to be devoured. We've just seen us devour 2 at once. Our strikecraft absolutely annihilating their strikecraft. Yeah, just way too much damage. What do they have left after that? Because that's a lot of them gone already. There's 3 major fleets left. They are splitting up, which is great. So we'll kill this one, move over, kill the one that's moving, then go after the single, then just push. Or we could do what we normally do, which I find more fun, and make a Scourge zoo. They are, after all, life, and there's no habitable worlds in this zone. I think that's what we're gonna do. Going after the last of their fleets now. Oh good, this is the final world. We didn't turn into a Gaia world because I missed it. Well, that's the last of their attack fleets dealt with. So I'm going to turn this system here and this system here into 2 very powerful bastions or shipyards. Have our fleet split between the 2. And that's our little zoo set up. Oh wait, no, there's a world here. Never mind. So it's here and here. So I'm afraid this little tiny section is all they get. Well, that's just about it. So we now have every single world under our control. They are all named Thorn. They are all Gaia worlds except for the ones we simply couldn't convert, which is a real shame. And we have every single system except for the systems which we've gave to the Scourge in our little zoo. I might be a little bit off, but I'm very quickly adding up all of the fleet power using a calculator, and 24,930,000. You know what? We're going to say 25 million fleet power, potentially, for the sake of the thumbnail. This is what was in the final battle. In fact, it is closer to that likely, because currently the Juggernaut isn't affecting all of our carriers. And we do also have the fleets over here, which are still growing. So we're actually definitely closer, if not surpassing, 30 million fleet power. I have never had that much fleet power in any of my games before ending the game. Aside from modded runs. So finally, let's talk about the positives and negatives of my first experience playing the Wilderness properly. And remember, this is just from the perspective of someone who's done one single match. So speaking about the negatives and the positives, starting off with the negatives, and the main one, which was an absolute curse the entire way through, the biomass system is not fit for purpose in my opinion. It is incredibly inelegant, it doesn't work the ways you'd expect it to work, and every time I thought it was all working correctly, suddenly half my worlds would completely shut down for multiple months, even if the Brood Symbiont was highlighted and made a priority job type. I don't know why this kept happening for me, especially near the end, but I had 160 odd worlds near the end, and yet I still was able to go into negative materials when I fully upgraded a new planet, because the biomass was not being grabbed equally from every world, it was being grabbed from, say, select world, and then the next, and then the next, causing those worlds to completely shut down. And if you don't have the Brood Symbiont highlighted, that could take literally years of in-game time for it to fix itself. If it ever did. One of the worlds, I am certain, was offline for over a year because I forgot to highlight the Brood Symbiont. That shouldn't be a necessity. If it's such a big problem, that should be automated. The next negative is kind of a bit more vague for me, and this is just the overall pacing of the Empire. I feel like early on, especially with alloys and raw resources, you can get so much so easily. Once you specialize those basic districts, and once you get your first world and specialize that into either basic resource or into alloys, the sheer number of jobs which are also being filled can make you pretty unstoppable. But then near the mid to late game, I feel like there's not really that same progression, that satisfying I've increased in power level over and over again, which makes it a little bit more dull later on. Now that's probably a problem with the fact we couldn't use the mega structures really, and we couldn't make hive worlds, we had to just stick with Gaia worlds. But even so, it felt a bit clunky, and it constantly felt like I was doing something a little bit off, even though we were absolutely unstoppable pretty much this entire game. Also, the fact we had neural network, I did not realise it would be just that strong. The amount of bonuses to job efficiency from farmers, miners, and technicians is absolutely insane, which does affect how much tech you get. I think over half of my tech near the end was just from our basic jobs, not our researchers. Lastly, and honestly this also applies to some other regular Empire types, I feel like there's a lack of customizability on the worlds you create, so by the end, every world was just a carbon copy of every other world. There was no choices with buildings or how to upgrade them, it was just spam the same buildings, spam the same districts, and you're going to get the best effect. That does also apply to other empires, as I already mentioned, but because of the lack of upgrading buildings and things like that the Wilderness has, it felt a little bit more severe. A little more flavor text stuff, a little extra weird building sets, and I'd be a lot happier. I said that really weirdly, but hopefully I got the point across. And now for the positives, and honestly, there's quite a few. First of all, I love the theme of this empire. Even by the end, the concept of it, all the flavor text, everything else, I absolutely adore the concept of the Wilderness. And for the most part, I thought it did it pretty well, feeling like it was nature and not just a regular empire. Then, I also like the idea of the jobs autofilling with symbiotic organisms rather than your population. One possible thing I would love to change, because I mentioned already that the overall pacing feels a little bit off this empire, is maybe once you build a building or a district, it takes time for that to fully grow. So you have the district, it's ready to have grubs mining away, and the grubs take a while to grow, and they mature similar to your ships, or something like that. I'm not a game dev, I'm terrible at coming up with ideas. And finally, although I've kind of mentioned something against this in the negatives, I do like the idea of the Wilderness being a lot more themed around raw resources over research. You can do Unity very well, you can do raw resources incredibly well, but because of the Empire size effect, at the end, the tech wasn't that great, and there was nothing I could really do about that. I'm okay with that. I do wish the progression was different to get to that point, but I am okay with the whole concept of the Wilderness being so in tune with basic resources, food, energy, minerals. It all makes sense to me, and I like that's the direction of this empire. Of course, the fact I was a Devouring Wilderness certainly pushed us further into that. One suggestion I would love to make is maybe in a Wilderness, Gaia worlds having different effects. Essentially, a Gaia world acting more like a Hive world or the Arcology project, having more options for them, since it's nature, and it's a nature world. Thank you for everyone who stuck around for the ramble at the end of the video. Maybe they weren't the most interesting of insights, but they were certainly the key takeaways I had after my one match of this empire. I really, really am looking forward to the beta becoming part of the stable branch. By the time this video is out, it should either be released already or soon to be released. So I may make a much shorter video going over that once it's in the stable branch and everyone's had a chance to actually check it out. Hopefully, maybe a couple of my suggestions happened and I was correct about some of my opinions, or perhaps they've changed them completely and it's an entirely different empire. We'll have to see soon enough. Thank you everyone for watching, the next video will be out far sooner than this one was, and have a lovely day.